Friends and family, this is your host, Kevin Orosz, and I'm very excited to come back to you with another episode of the KO Show. If you haven't already, this show, if you haven't listened to it, it's just me riffing. I'm just yapping. That's what the Zoomers are so into these days, is yapping. And I'm a yapper. Some of you have followed me for a long time. Some of you may be new. Been yapping for damn near 13 years online, and I love it. This show is just radical open conversations. Right now, there's only been one show with guests where I interviewed my dear bros. Most of them are solo casts. That's changing soon. I'll be interviewing guests, but topics include philosophy, psychology, technology, culture, religion, sexuality, all of it. I go all over the place. I have many interests. I have strong opinions, not for the faint of heart. And I'm pretty sure I'll make you laugh at some point. So I like to have fun. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Give me a like. Give me a comment. Let me know what you think about the show. Have you listened to it on Spotify? Are you over on YouTube? Are you watching a clip somewhere else? And I'd love a review. If you haven't left a review on Spotify, that really means a lot because that helps this baby show, this young show, get seen by more of the algorithmic jungle. So this episode is going to be all about founders. I want to talk about founders and the unique journey they go on. What I've noticed from my coaching career, working with tons of different kinds of business people. They own a small business that's brick and mortar. They own a full-fledged, massive scaled business that is in various niches in the mainstream economy. I've worked with coaches, creators, artists, musicians that just have a personal brand. And I've worked with people that are all in on like e-commerce and just online goods and services. So all of those people are founders, and there's a whole map that goes with that. And I actually really love supporting these people because when I get to work with someone who's building something or creating something, it's a totally different game. It's so much more fun. There's so much more at stake. The ripple of impact, the return on investment, there's a whole different game that gets to be played. And I've had the privilege through working with these people as clients, I get a front row seat and I'm learning how I am also a founder and I get to implement all that in my journey, which has been incredible. So that'll be what we circle around, and I'm going to go all over the place. As you guys know, I love me some tangents. Look around. I don't have notes. I'm not reading from anything. I was writing, bullet points on my phone earlier, and then I was like, fuck it. We'll do it live. Bill O'Reilly. To play us out, what is that? What is that? Fuck it, I'll write it myself, and we'll do it live. It's a fabulous old viral clip and meme. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Yes, founding anything, company, brand, vision, product, service, nonprofit, NGO, corporation, startup, YouTube channel, TikTok channel, Etsy shop, lawn mowing business, roofing business, real estate firm, law firm. What do they all have in common? You're leaning into the act of creativity. So if you're going to create, there's certain challenges you're going to face, and they're pretty standard procedure. If you're a human that knows you have to pull something down out of the ether or pull something deep from within you, your gut, your heart, and make it make sense in a world of rules, laws, regulations, people's opinions, the commercial and financial realities of the world, that is an entire hero's journey. And anyone who's any kind of founder or entrepreneur, this, how brutal it can be. Many are called, few are chosen. And you could maybe even argue few are called to this path because it is not easy. It is not a normal life. It's not, simple. It's complex. It's challenging, but it's also extremely rewarding. Look at the richest people on the planet. Elon is now number one after the SpaceX IPO. He's a trillionaire. Some saying the first trillionaire, whatever. They're all entrepreneurs. Nobody as an employee or you're an assistant or a cog in the machine. Now, of course, all these people were that, but at some point they stepped into being an owner, being a founder. So if you own assets that are wealth generating, aka businesses, equity, stock, bonds, precious metals, cryptocurrency, real estate, et cetera, et cetera. Income producing assets and businesses that earn while you sleep is how you become truly wealthy, which is very different than being on a W-2, having a salary, being a contractor, et cetera, et cetera. Now, of course, there's many layers to the game. So I'm not saying you should compare yourself to that. I mean, I hope not. Like, none of us should be comparing ourselves to Bezos, Musk, Gates, Altman, Amodei, all these fucking characters that are in the news, these massive corporations that are, doing shit. That's not who you compare yourself to. You compare yourself to who you were yesterday as a founder. And there's a creative vision here. So it should be said at the start here. Number one, who you surround yourself with is everything. I've said it on the show before. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And this isn't just woo or just arbitrary. If you look around, your financial outcomes, your relationship outcomes, your emotional outcomes, psychological outcomes will correlate, not pure causation, to the 5 people that are in your life the most. You see them the most, you talk to them the most, period. So what you think about that? That's a real thing. So your people are really important. Most people, myself included, I've experienced this. I've talked to many clients and colleagues who experienced this. When you first are like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to create something. I'm going to start a personal brand. I'm going to found a startup. I'm going to go and incorporate an LLC or an S Corp or whatever. I'm going to create a brand based on yoga, dog sitting, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to seek investment. I'm going to create a deck and seek funding. I'm going to team up with someone and we're going to make a startup. We're going to start a company. We're going to buy land and start a brick and mortar. We're going to start an intentional community. So many different ways to go. And then you have people that are like, oh yeah, that'll never work. Most fail, right? Well, how are you going to do that? You can't take out a bunch of debt and do that alone, credit cards. Well, who's going to buy your product? Like, it's not a good idea. Like, no one will do that. They can go to Walmart. You will instantly encounter external resistance in the form of people who, let's just be honest, yes, they care about you. They're trying to protect you. And there are real risks, of course, financial being the least of them. Emotional, friendships, relationships, many types of risks, maybe even safety or legal or ethical risks, depending on your venture. And you should take those seriously. And their own fear to sing their song before they, kiss the sweet dirt and kiss this mortal coil goodbye. Their fear of not creating what they want to create in their own life will be projected onto you because you now stand up as a tall poppy to be cut down by the hoi polloi. Which again, no disrespect to, not everyone needs to do stuff like this. This is a very small thing. It's like 1 to 5 to 10% of humanity, I imagine. Although anyone, it doesn't have to make money. Again, the whole point of being a founder entrepreneur in this context is that this is your livelihood. This is your career. This is your purpose. You create a ton of value and you get compensated for it. Some people just need to start a garden or they need to paint or they need to draw or dance. They don't need to start a venture. But even if they haven't done that, they'll project that onto you and say that you're crazy, you're wrong, you'll fail. Okay, that's one level. The harder level is the internal resistance you'll face. Am I good enough? Am I worthy of love? Can I really do this? If I do it and do it well, will people still like me and trust me? If I do it and I fail, will people still want to be my friend or my lover, husband, wife? If I do it and I make a lot of money, will I be seen as evil and rich and greedy and like all the other elite? And so on and so on. This is much more challenging, is the internal voice protecting you from failure and rejection, which biologically might have meant death in caveman times or exile, now is just a filter of the war on resistance and yourself. It's you versus you. It's you versus your past self. It's you versus your future self. It's you versus your limiting beliefs. many of which were formed from love and compassion in your nervous system to protect you. You can look at it as eternal family systems, parts work, family constellations, psychodrama, depth psychology. These are some of my favorite. Or you can look at it pure clinical. What are repeating thoughts, patterns, emotional loops, cognitive behavioral therapy lens. Doesn't matter what angle you approach it from. It's a real phenomenon. There are voices in your head that aren't your own, by the way. If you really listen to them, is it even your voice? That will tell you you're not good enough, you can't do it, you're not worthy, it'll never work. And they don't go away. Elon Musk, if we're counting score by dollars, is the richest person. He's winning the game right now. He still wakes up and has that voice, for sure. And if he says he doesn't, he's lying. But I've experienced him on interviews. Say what you want about his quirkiness. Super transparent. He talks about just never quitting and just iteration and repetition. So there's that. So there's someone watching the show, I hope, if even one person gets touched by this, this show is worth it, who hasn't started yet. And maybe this is your impetus, your impulse to start. There's someone else maybe watching who's a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their venture, and they're realizing I've been hiking up the wrong mountain, or I need to go all in and stop, pussyfooting around. I need to stop holding back in this venture. I need to have a radical conversation with my co-founder, my colleagues, my employees, et cetera, et cetera. So there's that. The most here's my opinion, okay? Curious what yours is, before you sling shade at me. Which, side note, just a little aside, some of the clips of this show, which are being put everywhere, are going mini viral on TikTok, and there's a few on Instagram that are doing well. If you go look at my accounts, it should all be in the show notes. And it's really fascinating to me. It's almost all negative. So this is why, this is funny. This is old Gary Vee philosophy, but I saw another creator who I don't remember his name. He's basically like, dude, stop waiting. Go create 30 videos and post them. So the whole thing with short form video and the talk and the gram, it's all about short form reels, right? TikTok videos, Instagram reels, et cetera, YouTube shorts. You have to post 20 to 30. Most of them will never be seen. 1 or 2 will pop off, iterate. So I've now posted, I think well over 30 since this show was founded, and 2 popped off on TikTok. Not crazy. It's like 15K views, a couple 100,000, 100 to 1,000 comments or shares. Now it's all negative. So one on the Terrence McKenna, time wave zero idea of the singularity in the future is pulling us, backwards through time as retrocausality. People just going apeshit on that one. And then the one about robots building robots in a post-scarcity, singularity AGI economy, that price will go down because costs will reach zero when there's insane hyper material abundance and labor, right? Through robotics and AI. It's all negative. People just talking shit, throwing shade, which, is part of the game. Side note, negative engagement, people saying read an economics book, you tin hat. These people are just violently projecting garbage into my comment section and making it go mini viral. So thank you guys. I'll read the comments. I'm not going to respond to all of them because these people are just projecting. These people are in pain and limitation. And me talking about a potential benevolent, bright future timeline gets torn down by the crabs in the bucket thing of everything's bad, evil, wealth, people bad. It'll always be bad. AI robot bad because data center, because news, because CNN. Frankly, it's NPC behavior. And a lot of it's embarrassing. And thank you for the engagement. As P.T. Barnum said, any PR is good PR. There's obviously limits. I have blocked some people because some people take it too far and they're so virulent and aggro that I'm like, you're fucking done. And, you're drunk and I'm done with you. Block. It's just, I'm not going to deal with some of them. Other ones, it's cheeky enough, even though they're being extremely disrespectful and they've never met me or probably never seen my content in their life. And their first impulse is to talk shit. It's cheeky enough that, I'll throw out a little heart and maybe a little clown emoji, a little laughy emoji. Let's have a little fun with it. So that's an aside, little commercial break of what I'm talking about. And a content creation side, which most entrepreneurs and founders are going to have to either do themselves or pay someone to do, or get AI to do it. It's a numbers game. And Gary Vee's been saying this for a long time. You got to make a lot of reps, a lot of iterations. In that journey, most of it will never be seen. No one cares. So the hardest part about developing a product, developing a service, building a team, arguably the most important part of this whole thing. Or so a lot of people, you can do it solo now because your team is, the nation of intelligence, of genius in this little thing. Because you can automate and leverage so much as a solo founder entrepreneur these days. We're living in a renaissance, all right? Like it's unbelievably powerful. Your first ideas will suck. Your first products will suck. Your first services will suck. Your first podcast, video, Substack article, pitch deck, real estate proposal, etc., etc. Just like the gym, when you walk in the gym day one and you haven't worked out in a while or you've never committed to a routine and you're trying to do the most hardcore shit in the gym, what are you doing? You're going to have to be in there, a couple months. You're going to get gradated change. It'll be gradual in a gradation. And you'll iterate, and through those reps, you'll build muscle, build flexibility, build fascial memory, and you'll fucking pop off. And you'll be fit and sexy and healthy and mobile, and you'll be able to do all the, squat rack, bench, pull up, blah, blah, blah you want to do. You don't do it on day one. The day you plant the seed is not the day you taste the fruit, my friend. So why are you yelling in the garden at the seed to grow faster and produce fruit at the beginning? Some of this in our dopamine addicted culture, which I too am a victim of, it's like we want it now. I want it now. Give it to me. I deserve it. It's entitlement. It's assumption. It's ugly because it's like everything happens in its own time. If you just never stop creating and adding value to people's lives, and that's within a business structure, you will eventually succeed if and only if you are adaptable to changing circumstances, feedback from the market, and iteration. And I said this on another show. This one's overlapping with it, but I want to speak into some other angles of it. Here's the loop. Build cool things that people value. Talk about it in public. Listen to the feedback and repeat. Design and build cool things that people value and solve their problems. Create a simple go-to-market where people can, in the common area of the internet or your town or wherever, can vote on it with dollars and attention. And then listen to the feedback and then go build some, so this is the flywheel. It's that simple. Obviously, you could add 20 extra steps in there of the refinement, the nuance, the niche specific things, the different verticals and their demands in the economy, of course. And that's the flywheel. And various people of various types and stripes have talked about this for a long time. No one owns that idea because I would argue it's like we didn't make that up. We discovered through the laws of this physical reality that that's how you bring things into being. From idea to physical reality or whatever. It's the creative path. Now, the other interesting thing about being a founder is you're probably going to have to date, marry, and befriend other founders. Not always, but it's a very unique life path that some would argue is not normal. It can be a tough lifestyle, long hours, early mornings, late nights, obsession, creative, drive, bipolar working hours and energetics, because you're not going to be able to just mail it in and operate like a little good worker in the ant hive of postmodern capitalism. You're going to have to be going crazy. There's incredible films about this. The Fassbender Steve Jobs movie, incredible. The Ashton Kutcher Steve Jobs movie, incredible. The original Social Network with Zuck and early Facebook, incredible. Those are just the three that come to mind. Obviously, they're tech adjacent, and I've seen them all multiple times because, there's dark shit. There's all this bullshit about the drama of founding these iconic companies, Facebook, Apple. But you see what being a founder is like. It's crazy. And they're some of the best to ever do it. in our world, modern time, because they've created devices, platforms, software, hardware that the whole world is using. Just think about that, how crazy that is. Billions and billions of humans using something that was an idea in your head. Absolutely incredible. Absolute cinema. You have to be in awe of it. A lot of people will never be founders, and this is sad, and we should talk about it, because they think all people who are successful as entrepreneurs or founders, which again are atypical rewards, you're taking on atypical risk, and therefore you gain and garner atypical rewards. If you get funding, you get an angel, Series A investor, et cetera, you go viral and get to market with product market fit, you control your own hours, you hack the growth social network effect of social media or guerrilla marketing or in person, you're at the right place, right time in a high demand, low supply market. Oh yeah, there's no upper limit to the upside. Whereas if you choose to work for someone who's a founder or in a normal corporation or whatever, there's a limit to the upside. This is where equity, shares, really explosive growth and high leverage or like very high, margins on a commodity, a good, a service, whatever. There's no limit to the upside. So you're taking massive risk on as an entrepreneur, but you're getting massive upside. You also have freedom of your hours, time, relations, energy, etc. It's incredible. But it's very difficult. And I say this as someone, I'm 13 years into my journey with this. I haven't figured shit out. I know a few things, I'm telling you. Everything I'm telling you right now, by the way, I'm studying for myself because I still need it. I have not some guru here. There's times where I had imposter syndrome where this multi-millionaire is selecting me to coach them. They're older than me. They have vastly more wealth than me. They have more business acumen than me. And they saw something in me. And in retrospect, rightly so, I was able to help them on a deep level because I also know some things. I know a couple things. And I have a different approach and lens on all of this stuff. And I just personally, I'm a nerd. I'm a geek for this shit. I love it. I just love it. Some would say being a founder, well, it's one of the greatest. People say I'm one of the greatest founders you've ever met. Trump has to say a little bit on the matter, of course. Trump's another example. Love him or hate him. I'm trying to practice the voice more and more because it's just so fucking hilarious. The dude is a mega entrepreneur. Yeah, there's a bunch of like fraud and debt and blah, 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 blah. And he got elected president. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Like, how many entrepreneurs were elected president? Jamie, look that up, or find that. It's an interesting. How many entrepreneurs rose to power and became nobles, monarchs, presidents, politicians, movers and shakers? Probably not as many as I'm thinking, but still a lot. And it's incredible. So there's real risks. And the social risks are a tough one because, Alex Hormozy talks a lot about this. I've now created 2 schools. I have a third one in stealth. I think the school platform is epic. Sam Evans, Alex Hormozy, all these characters. It's the S tier community platform right now. Let's just be honest. So if you go to the link in my show notes, I have the Polarity Lab, the Fellowship, Sex, Dating, Relationship School, over 40 people. Fellowship is a brotherhood. It's a men's circle, almost 20 brothers. So school's dope. Go check it out. I have an affiliate link as well. I actually write a lot about my school maxing experience in my Substack if you're on my newsletter. But Hormozy talks about basically the people while you're coming up as an entrepreneur. They'll talk shit. They'll say you'll never do it. He's sleeping in his gym. He's broke. He's personal training all day, saving every dime, investing in the business. And then 5 years later, he blows out and makes 100K. And then those people say, oh, I always knew you would do it. And we're good, right? We're like best friends. And they want to ride the coattails. There's something interesting when you're coming up, you'll find out who the real ones are. And this goes to your lovers and your choice of partner and romance. This goes to your employees and co-founders. It also goes to your friend group. Some people talk shit or doubt almost on principle, which is really weird. And again, it's all from love and they're trying to protect you in my experience. So you want to try to understand it and not just throw it all out. And talked about this before on the show. What are the big questions in life for every man and woman? Who am I? Where am I going? Who's coming with me? These questions, I would argue, are even more important for a founder or entrepreneur of anything. Personal brand, you're just starting a little TikTok, a little Etsy shop, or you're in Silicon Valley and you're trying to like bump shoulders with private equity and angel investors, right? Whatever. It's a whole thing. You're going to have to figure out how to navigate the minefield of, if you want an exceptional life, you're going to have exceptional fortitude. And if you want things that others can never have, you're going to have to do a lot of things others are never going to be willing to do, right? You've probably heard this before. I don't even know who originally created that quote, but it's a very interesting quote. To me, it applies like the laws of alchemy or natural law. It's equivalent exchange. What are you willing to sacrifice to get something incredible back? And you can't game that system because people in the economy, commercial sense, where money is concerned, what is it? It's just a fucking token that's tracking value. People value weird things, you know, prostitution, brothels, OnlyFans. This is an ancient institution where some people are willing to sell sexuality and desire, and there's a large demand for it. You could say it's all evil and they're fucked up, but they're providing value and getting a fair market price for it. You know, it sounds crazy to say that, and I disagree with it maybe on ethical grounds or moral grounds. And like, just look around. What's one of the most profitable things? War. Money is neutral. It's a tool. There's a lot of people, myself included. I've been so curious about this. I was raised, you know, middle class. I've never experienced being ultra poor, although I've experienced having no money in my account. I spent my last dime to go to a retreat and trust falled and leaped off the cliff into the personal development, digital nomad lifestyle, you know, over a decade ago. I know that feeling. It doesn't feel good. Never been on food stamps. I've never been, you know, in true poverty. So I can own that. I'm privileged, which, you know, some woke people love to remind me in certain comment sections. And yeah, okay, shut the fuck up. Everybody has their own story with money and their journey, and none is better than the other. Like, yeah, you're born on the street and homeless and like depraved poverty. Like, that's devastating. Some of those people rise up to be some of the most powerful spiritual, cultural, financial leaders. It's happened and happens. Some people who are born with a trust fund or hyper rich, wealthy families become absolute pieces of shit and psychopaths. So again, this is a human game. It's money's fault. It's evil. No. You're not seeing it clearly. Now, the incentives of capitalism and late stage crony capitalism, I've already talked about it. I did a whole show on fractional reserve banking, debt-based economy. It's all fucked and the game is rigged. I'm not going to lie to you. To my eyes and the evidence, there's a lot of stuff being rigged. And you have total freedom and more economic mobility today than any humans ever had in history. So got to take good with the bad here, guys. Come on. Now, whether it's psychological and neuro-linguistic programming, and it's all materialism, or it's woo and spells are real, and curses and vows and things like this. Binding agreements that maybe extend even beyond this life or this realm. There's a lot of poverty, money, spells out there, a lot of black magic. To the point which I've noticed this in the conscious community and with a lot of artists, this whole starving artist mentality, or the idea that it's noble and moral to eschew the benefits of finance and money and do it for free or whatever. There's this weird moral high horse, white horse, high roading thing that happens. There's a glory in being the broke artist, just living on espresso and the little flat, furiously writing his Pulitzer Prize winning novel. There's a romantic thing to that, which I have sympathy for. I love that shit. and it's not serving. So the whole thing, we're like, okay, the billionaires are evil. Some of these founders I've named are evil, the tech founders, the Alex Karps, the Palantirs, the Peter Thiels, name your character, right? Masari, what's the Instagram CEO's name? These are the big boys, right? Tech. These are the magnificent seven of like the stock market, biggest companies, blah, 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 blah. Jensen Huang. Look back, even further back, JP Morgan, the Rockefellers, the 13 families that rule Europe, Gucci, like whatever. Pick your era and pick your moguls that have won the money game. Are they actually evil? Or are they just more organized than you? And they have clarity of vision and a very strong, burning, ignited emotional attachment to an outcome. And they have grit and they have fortitude. They're anti-fragile. They don't care about other people's opinions who aren't in the arena. They're not even listening to the people throwing tomatoes in the stands. They're on the battlefield. And say what you will. Yes, are some morally ambiguous? Are some probably ontologically evil? I don't know. Maybe. Some of their actions lead me to believe that a lot of them aren't good. Looking at you, Billy Gates. Dude, it's like literally like speed running, becoming a fucking James Bond supervillain, apparently. They're more organized and they played to win the game. Now, is it game A? Is it zero sum? Yes. It's not great. Can we move to game B in positive sum games? I think so. It's going to take radical cultural and societal shifts, though, to get there. How many people do you know, and be honest, think money is evil, and if you make more money, you are evil somehow? And are willing to LARP and moral superiority people to make less money for some reason. It's not a great look. Gotta be honest with you. And it's not true in a literal sense. And I can just hear people now, clip this. You being impoverished or not getting organized and intent enough to generate wealth, if you are truly on a benevolent mission to empower the planet and nature and humanity towards a good future, how else are you going to do it? Because what is that wealth? Ultimately, it's a tool to found trusts, religions, churches, to steward land projects, to steward benevolent corporations and startups, to steward new technology, to steward new marketing and sales and enrollment techniques and ethoses. Like, if you're not going to do that and you're going to stay, poor, or like say money's bad, I don't want it, and then you're going to yell into the field of the people who are crushing the money game at the highest level, even if it is rigged, and say they're bad, okay, they should distribute their money, they're evil, they fucked up, it's all them, I'm noble, and I just haven't made it in business, or whatever, my personal brand hasn't worked, because I'm just waiting for the thing to be good. And they did it wrong, but I'm doing it right. I did everything right, and they indicted me. It's like, what? This is crazy. This is La La Land. This is magical thinking, not in the good way. And I know a lot about it because I've been there. I still find myself there sometimes, because you have to give yourself compassion and grace. Most of us didn't receive financial training or teaching from our parents, peers, or schooling, period. Economics 101 didn't teach you shit about how to relate to money in the real world. Pure theory craft. Pure garbage. Well, microeconomics is very interesting. Macroeconomics is kind of like astrology for men. That's not my idea, but like looking at stock charts, this is epic tweet, is astrology for men. Like women are looking in Cosmo, like, my Virgo's in Gatorade, so maybe he'll call me back. Like men are like, ooh, that's SpaceX IPO. Look at this chart and these ratios. And like, it's astrology for men. It's great. I love it. I'm actually into both. I love looking at natal charts. I love looking at, trading view charts. There's a lot of stories when it comes to generating wealth, being in business, and they all get brought up. Back to wrap this up in the full circle here, they get brought up more when you're a founder and entrepreneur. If you're an employee, which is most people, and thank God, because we need people doing all kinds of jobs. And this episode is geared towards founders and entrepreneurs. But even if you're an employee, a lot of what I'm talking about, and I've served a lot of clients in this regard, is about asking for a raise, getting paid double, and working half the time. And basically like leveraging your position in the social hierarchy or dominance hierarchy of your company. Because it's the same journey. What am I worth? Can I do it? Will I succeed? What if I get rejected? I want to ask for more. I want this. I want that. And you're leaning into it and owning your value and then asking for what you want. It still comes up there. The stuff I've been talking about, though, is going to come up 1,000x when you're starting your own thing and a founder. That's where the great filter occurs. For a lot of people, they got to lock in, back up, dial in, grit their teeth, white knuckle, and hopefully have support, have mentors, have colleagues, have brothers in arms, sisters in arms to help them through the tough times. Emotionally, psychologically, they're going to need support. They're going to have to dig deep. And most importantly, your mission, vision, and values, your ultimate vision and value. If you're truly creating something benevolent that life, Gaia, the intelligence of life wants, you will get funded, you will get paid, you'll be taken care of, and you'll have a positive impact. But you got to weather the storm. There's no other way around it. This realm, the material plane, Earth, planet, this blue planet, it'll test you. We're in school. We're in some kind of university where it's like I can just think, I want $1 million. And it's like it just appears in front of me. Maybe that's how it works in like another dimension or an alternate timeline. On this plane, you can literally do that. And then through the laws of hard work, creativity, innovation, repetition, iteration, through the laws of equivalent exchange, you can have that. But there are many steps to get there. And a lot of people smarter than me, who I'm learning from, have given their entire playbook to us for free or for a small cost in their book, in their podcast, in their course, blah, 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 blah. I'm giving you, a little diced up version of what I've been obsessed with for, over 10 years now, reading about, studying, practicing. It's super fascinating and it's super inspirational. We are living in a Renaissance, an echo of the Renaissance. What happened in the Renaissance? Inventors, mystics, scientists, entrepreneurs, bankers, dancers, alchemists. They started pushing the frontiers, getting weird, experimenting, and finding a bunch of insanely dope stuff to do. And guess what? A lot of them were wildly successful. A lot of them just like were slumped in the street, drunk off wine and poor and having fun. A lot more got persecuted by the church and other people. But guess what? The top dogs got patrons. The Medici family comes to mind. These rich Italian city-states, rich by trade of being in the heart of the Mediterranean and also having Rome and the Pope and the Christendom in the medieval timeline, in the Renaissance timeline, the best artists got funded, the best inventors, mechanics, business people got funded. And they created the modern world. Now, before the Renaissance and after, because it's had a long tenure, but the Silk Road is another example. The Silk Road is this beautiful lifeline of east to west. You can't even imagine how lit. You think Burning Man is cool? Just imagine being a trader on the Silk Road. You're meeting Persians, Chinese, Europeans, Indians, islanders, people from the steppe, courtesans, prostitutes, priests, mystics, businessmen, nobles, princes, royalty. They're all getting high together, breaking bread together, singing and dancing together, exchanging the most interesting, crazy ideas to one another, trying to find language similarities, finding language barriers, finding cultural similarities, finding cultural challenges. The Silk Road coded the whole Eurasian subcontinent with East and Southern Asia and coded the modern world. There's a whole hidden history of what happened on the Silk Road. And the idea exchange, my goodness, it was incredible. It's one of the most lit times ever. It's also super dangerous. There were bandits. You could fucking die in the desert. You could starve. You could get robbed. It's an entirely different universe. I see the rise of AI and automation and robotics mixed with this like global, always on 24/7 beast that is the internet and the new culture. We're in a new Silk Road and Renaissance, but it's 1,000x speed. We're speed running what our ancestors encountered when globalization and our human family starts talking at scale with everyone. We can see everything, all of our past, all of our mistakes, all of our future, all of our blessings. And anyone can be a founder, an inventor, an artist, a mystic. Anyone. If you're watching this show on a smart device, phone, iPad, TV, laptop, you're more empowered to create and go forth in what I've been talking about than ever before. And resistance will come up. Some people will watch this and feel triggered for whatever reason. And I just invite you to get curious about that, if that's happening for you. Some people watch this and get fired up and they're like, fuck, yes. Some people feel neutral because they're actually not called to some of this, but they'll just be like, interesting. And to all of you, I say, create something. Even though it feels like the world is full and like to the brim and like kind of over created, like there's too much shit, there's actually more room than ever. And it's never been easier to truly create, to truly crush it and add value to your human brothers and sisters. We're all from the same family tree, by the way, and make the world better. And live wealthy, healthy, and happy, and in love, and in balance and harmony while doing it. And if you don't believe that's possible, the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that it is. Stop blaming outside forces. Stop listening to people in the bleachers when you're in the arena taking shots. Blood, sweat, tears. I don't value those people's opinion at all. The people in the comments, I go to their profile, 10 followers, don't even have a profile picture, no post, private profile, and you're talking shit about people on the battlefield? Shut the fuck up, man. No one cares, dude. If I wouldn't take advice from you, I'll never take criticism from you. Now, that being said, I'll still read it. I'll take a look. Every once in a while, I'm like, damn, that's kind of true. And like, I should look at that. So it's still valuable, to be clear. Most of it's garbage. So what are you waiting for? What's your resistance? If you have a journal nearby, you have your voice recorder, Apple Notes, Google Notes, whatever. Write it down. Talk into it. Speak into it. Think about it. Go on a walk without your phone. Come back, write it down, capture it. I want to inspire you to create. I want to invite you to create. If you're listening to this show and you're like, damn, now this guy I can get into. You want me in your corner? You want a Gandalf to your Frodo and Obi-Wan to your Luke? Hit me up. All my links are in the show notes. I do this one-on-one in private mentorship and coaching for founders and entrepreneurs and creatives. It's fast becoming my favorite type of client. Been doing it a long time. Don't talk about it enough. Part of the show is me as in a coming out party. I'm pulling back the kimono on my whole brand and what I do and what I'm into. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Share this episode. Share this clip. Share this show with someone or tag them if it was beneficial to you. And until next time, folks, upward and onward, Excelsior. Done.